Hello, I'm Mathieu from LudoChrono, and today I'm going to give you an overview of Namiji. So Namiji is a movement game and also a set collection game for 2 to 5 players, ages 10 and up, and it plays for around 45 to 60 minutes. In this game, you play as fishermen from the medieval Japan, and you want to get the most victory points by getting the most fish, the most beautiful things, by collecting the right things on the board. So the board is divided into sections with those docks here. And this is very important because you're going to move to a dock, everyone is going to stop at that dock, and then everyone is going to move again. The way the game plays is very simple. You're going to play turn after turn, and to know who the active player is, you just need to notice who is the last player in the order. So in this case, for example, it would be brown, and brown could move any number of spaces up on the board. You cannot go backwards. For example, they could go there, and for example, pink could go there, and then it would be white's turn, and they could go there. So that would be pink's turn, and pink could do this, and then that, and then it would be brown. The thing is, every time you get to a spot, you're going to perform the linked action. I'm going to explain those actions now. So, for example, we have the panoramas here. So we have dolphins, we have octopuses, and we also have whales. Every time you get to one of those, you're going to draw a card and complete your panorama. So, for example, with the dolphins, you're going to have the first card, then on the second dolphin, you can get the second card, and on the third dolphin, you can get the third card. Every time you get the third card, well, you get the entire panorama, which is going to score you a lot of points at the end of the game. And if you're the first player to do so, you get a bonus card, which gives you bonus points. So that's how it goes for panoramas. All of them work in the same way, but the bigger, like the whale, is a bit longer, so it takes more time to complete. Then you have crustaceans. You can go fish crustaceans. And if you do that, you take this bag and you're going to draw from it. For example, I could draw a crab, or I could draw shrimps. And you can stop at any time. So for example, I could draw another shrimp, and then I could decide to stop, because if I get a second crab, all of my catch goes back into the bag. What your catch does is that it's going to score you victory points. So that's very simple. You catch fish, crustaceans, and you score points at the end of the game. So you also have fishing, which is either line fishing or net fishing. If you are going line fishing, you're just going to draw one of these tokens in the school of fish. So I place it here in my basket, and what my basket does is my basket is going to allow me to make lines and, well, rows and columns. If I score a row, it has to have fish with the same shape, so same species, or same color. So in this case, it would be the same species, for example. Every time you take a fish from the school of fish, you must reveal a fish from the school of fish as well. So now net fishing. Net fishing is a bit different. You're going to draw a tile from the net pile, and this is double, so it's less flexible, but it can allow you to fill your rows faster. That's it for fishing. So now we have the whirlpool and the offerings. So as you may notice on my player board here, I have offerings, and I can go to the whirlpool to give those offerings back to the ocean. And it is very important because I will get malus victory points at the end of the game if I didn't make my offerings to the oceans. So I can do that in this spot. Finally, we are going to have sacred rocks. So these sacred rocks allow me to draw objective cards, so sacred rock cards. And when I get them, they are secret objectives, and I can fulfill them at the end of the game. For example, this one, Animal Kinship, gets me 3 additional victory points if I have one of each panorama. So it rewards different play styles, and you have to adapt if you want to get victory points from them. So finally, you can reach the dock. If you reach the dock, something happens. If you reach the dock, you have to place yourself in this dock. So for example, that player could go there, and white, let's imagine white wants to go there, and then pink could go on the first space or the last space, whatever floats their boat. Then once everyone is there, we're going to draw cards, dock cards, as many as there are players plus 1, and the players are going to select one to keep, starting with the first player. This is one of the rare occurrences when you don't start with the last player. So the first player is going to take the object of their choice. It might get you victory points, it might get you special powers that you can use to power up an action, and so on and so forth. So, pink is going to take one, brown is going to take one, and then white is going to take one. The leftover card is going to be discarded, and then we can resume the race until the next dock. So we are going to be playing like so until the end of the game. At the end of the game, there is no dock cards, but if you get there first, you get 7 victory points, and then 5, and then 3, and so on and so forth. So there is kind of a racing element at the end of the game. Then once everyone has arrived here, well, this is the end of the game. You tally up the scores with the points that you have accumulated during the game, but also the malices from the offerings that you didn't give to the gods of the sea, and then your sacred rock cards that you scored. The player with the highest victory point total is the winner of the game of Namiji. So that's the gist of it. Now, there are a couple things. If you play with more than 3 players, you have 2 spots here and there. So you have spots that allow 2 players to perform the same action. And if you play with 2 players, you're going to have a third neutral player. So this is the basic gist of the game. This is a game about, at the same time, collecting the things that will score you points, but also you want to block your opponents from doing so. So you're going to have to balance scoring with opportunity. Now, bye-bye, and see you on ludovok.fr.